Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Water Cooler. I am Sarah from Texas, and this is our place to chat all the latest celebrity news, reality TV, Jeff Lewis Live. I've got a dog hair on my laptop computer screen, a little bit of Luna. How the heck are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new here, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button at the bottom of my main page on YouTube. And get comfortable in comments. We love to hear where you're from, what you have to say, all the things. So let me get that little banner thing off. Also, towards the end of the hour, if you want to come on and ask a question or comment live, you can always do that in comments. I do try to read most of the comments. I can't read everything when I'm chatting, but there is a StreamYard link right there. So just copy and paste that into Safari, Chrome, whatever you use, all the things. Oh my gosh. Hello, Michael and H, Bev and Clara. How are you? I woke up to rain this morning, a pretty bad thunderstorm actually that I didn't even know was coming. And then it's been beautiful all day. So shout out Annie and Kay Kitty. How are you? How do y'all get, I need to figure out how I can get emojis. I must not have them on the laptop. I don't know. I guess if I'm doing it on my phone, maybe I would have emojis. I love the little rainbow, Annie. Anyways, how are you? Let me know. Are you having a good Monday, a crazy Monday? Are you having, it's just a normal Monday. Cheers from Huntington Beach, California. That sounds nice. Is that like in the mid? I don't really know where Huntington Beach is. Hey, Nurse M and Dolly Girl and Lisa in Kentucky. Oh, lucky number 13. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Oh, by the way, I don't know what made me think of this. Because a lot of y'all get riled up when she's on. What's her face? Patty Stanger's going to be on tomorrow, Jeff Lewis. So let me know if you're excited for that. Oh my gosh. Yes, we are definitely going to chat about that. Raquel says, I guess Jeff is upset that Annie showed him in Thai and it was not a flattering pic. I think it's the video, the vlog that she made. So definitely want to chat about that. Topper says, did you get to Gimp and scooter around? Hopefully you're being careful. Girl, as of last Wednesday, after my 3-week doctor's checkup, after my surgery, I am off the knee scooter. I did use it a little bit yesterday because I was doing something, but I'm walking on my orthopedic shoe. I'm actually icing my foot right now because, here's my orthopedic shoe, beautiful Velcro. I'm icing the bottom and top of my foot right now because, it's still getting used to walking around a lot. So anyways, Kim says she can insert emojis from her laptop. I don't have the option. Like when I've got the comments thing over there. Says post a comment, but nothing comes up. Like right now I can type in, hey, and then it has the arrow to post it. Like I don't have an emoji screen that comes up. So anyways, Christina, you weren't one of the ones. So a lot of people sent, well, I say a lot, maybe 4 to 5 people sent me the video of Annie with walking down the street. We'll chat about it in a second. First of all, I did not get a chance to watch Love Island yet last night. I will try to watch that tonight, or I'll watch 90 Day Fiance. I'm not sure which one I'll watch. But also tonight is our special night for our Instagram subscriber only Ask Me Anything, because last night, happily, I was busy at my daughter's college graduation party. So we were there and had so much fun, such a good turnout. Her cake was very tall. Like these cakes nowadays, like you have to cut it with like a Ginsu knife. It was crazy. We actually cut it, then laid it down and sliced it into 6 different pieces because it was such a big cake. But anyways, we had cake balls, and we had pretzels dipped in the Georgia colors. Her cake had the big G on it and it said congrats. So anyways, I did not get to do our usual Instagram subscriber Ask Me Anything that's usually on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. So when we do that, when I can't make it for some reason, then we do move it to Monday. So it will be on tonight, please join us live on Instagram. It is so much more fun for you to join live. If not, who's going to ask me anything? Like there's nothing to do if there's no audience there, right? But even if you can't join live, if you're not an Instagram subscriber yet, you can click the button on my main page of my Instagram profile, Sarah from Texas podcast. It's $4.99 a month. Cancel anytime. There's no, year-long thing or anything. And you get to go in and have access to every single subscriber thing I've posted ever since I started it. So every Instagram subscriber, ask me anything on Sundays. You can watch all of those. So yes, Kimberly said cake. Did I hear cake? Yes, we have got some in the fridge right now. I wrapped them up in little, the leftovers in little ceramic wrap or whatever it's called. So anyways, I love how y'all get in comments chatting with everybody. Yes, Mabu nailed it. She says Ty was lagging behind them. Strange him and Jeff weren't walking together. But if you ever remember, like he and Stu, obviously we got the most content of them together because Stu is so big on social media. But we didn't get a lot of videos or pictures of them, things like that. But Gage, I mean, social media was a thing, but I don't think Gage or Jeff really wanted to be on social media. Scott also, I don't think Scott really wanted to be on social media. So we got the most behind the scenes, if you will, of Stu and Jeff, but still not that much. So I don't even think, like, even when I've met Stu and Jeff together so many different times, they weren't like holding hands or their arms on each other's back or like always standing next to each other. They were both mingling. So they weren't the most like lovey-dovey. They were very much, people would probably think they're just friends when they were actually dating. So anyways, that's kind of how it was in that video of Ty, but we will definitely chat about that. I've got so many opinions. I felt it was so confusing what Jeff was saying, like, which thing he's upset with Annie doing this vlog during Jeff Lewis live hours. Because now that he talked a lot more about it on today's show, he's not just upset that she's vlogging during Jeff Lewis live hours. He is worried that her attention is now more focused on her own future career than Jeff Lewis live. And he's comparing her against Kian and Shane, who he says, look, I know these two guys have my back. I know they're 100% committed. They are not thinking about their own careers or their own next steps. They're thinking about what is good for my business. And those are the people I want to keep around. He says, I am done with a preschool. I'm done hosting a preschool and just keeping people around that entertain me, make me laugh, all those things. I've really got to nip this in the bud and think about people that are only thinking about me and my business, because that's what I have to think about. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts. We will get into it very soon. But Michael Riley says Annie's getting the boot soon. Oh, wait. Kim says, when you chat a comment, press Control Command Spacebar at once. What's command? Spacebar at once, and regular emojis pop up just like they always do with my MacBook. I don't have a MacBook. I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't know what command is. Control Command Spacebar. I don't know what that is. What's the command button on my computer? Anyways, not the most techie person at ever. Oh, Raquel, good question. Do you think Jeff had good news in New York regarding a show? I doubt it. Thoughts? I don't know. I don't know if he got any news yet. Maybe they finally figured out, because he said for months, I guess the attorneys and the contract has been going back and forth between whether his show that he should be having on Bravo TV, Bravo Network, whether SiriusXM is going to allow them to record, because Jeff Lewis Live is such a huge part of that. Like, it's not only like this is going to be about Jeff's life. It's not just about design like Hollywood House Lift was, where they just showed Jeff Lewis Live just a split second, maybe the first episode. So B Kent says, I don't think can't read what you're saying. Her using his audience on his dime. She knows he has a huge reach and she's using it to her advantage. Topper says, I've never been sure of Annie. Is she a climber? I mean, isn't everyone a climber in life? I mean, they're kind of, or does that mean you're using someone else to climb? Is that what that means? Key is immediate to the left of the space bar. Oh, mine says Alt. Mine says Alt on the immediate of both sides of the space bar button, and then there's a control over there and a control over there. I don't know. Definitely can't wait to chat this. Okay, so today on the first hour was Sarah Colonna and Ryan Bailey. There's a new intro song. Did you like it? I don't even know what it is. Let me see if I still have it on my thing and I can play it for you. I don't even recognize the song. Oh, I guess I deleted it already. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I delete very quickly on my phone. Deleted videos. Recently deleted. Okay, this is the song that I guess is going to be his intro song. He didn't even think it sounded normal. I mean, even Jameson had to tell him, you know.
Good morning. You're listening to Jeff Lewis Live in.
I don't know what happened. What was wrong with Petty Ass Bitch by Baby Tate? It's called Petty, Pedy, which is weird. It should be Petty. But anyways, about Annie, Mayboo says she's young, she's not thinking. You can't police every move of someone because they work for you. Yeah. Raquel says they both benefit from it. If Jeff doesn't see it that way, he says his business. And I asked which business, design or radio? Radio benefits from Annie having the blog. Yes. But I said this last week when this first came up. Why is Jeff not having her vlog him and Shane during the day and put that up as content? Because first of all, Jeff Lewis has 900 and something thousand subscriber or followers, whatever it's called on Instagram, 920,000 followers. He hardly ever posts anything but the very basic. Very little personal stuff, very little like him and Shane out running errands, or maybe, oh, I'm meeting a new client, whatever. He's got one Instagram story right up and it's his video that she does. And so the point of having her or Kian that used to do the videos is that it's another side business. It's a side hustle to make money on social media. But also with the videos, you literally can make money with all the views they get. But those short clips also get more attention. And then people be like, oh, wait, I want to watch this video. I want to watch Jeff Lewis. Oh, I need to listen to the podcast, which is advertisers, which makes money. Oh, I'm going to follow him if he posts interesting content because I want to be alerted when he posts. But he doesn't post a whole lot. And if he did, I feel like more people would follow him. More would he would have more viewers, he would have more engagement, and all of that is what matters to get him these deals like books or whatever it is, flowers, all the commercials that he's done. So I said this last week, but she is putting it on her own Instagram and her own TikTok to build that up. Now, I don't know what her TikTok was before because I've forgotten, but it was not big at all. And now her Annie Sharp, ANNIESHARP, her Instagram is now 6,160. So the first video says, working for Jeff Lewis. So she's no dummy. I hired her for my social media, 2 years ago or whenever it was. So she knows what she's doing with that. She is well aware, and we are all well aware that when Jeff Lewis has people on and they talk about the social media, people go and follow that. People go and watch that. So just like we know when he goes out or used to go out with Heather McDonald or Kelly Dodd, we all know, oh, let me make sure I'm following them. Let me make sure I check their Instagram because they were the ones that we could count on to post videos of Jeff Lewis. And it often looked like behind the scenes videos. It looked like, Jeff ordering dinner or Jeff in the background. One had like Heather McDonald sitting on Jeff Lewis's lap at Kelly Dodd's house a couple of years ago for 4th of July. That's the kind of stuff we want to watch, but he doesn't put that stuff up on his own Instagram. So we know to watch other people's. So Annie is well aware, hey, I'm trying to build my Instagram with my vlog, but I'm very much going to let people know the fact, hey, I'm at this work lunch. So I'm going to show, this is one thing I'm very confused about. And then I'll go into more of the details. But really quickly, one of the things Jeff brought up last week was that Annie was vlogging during work hours. So he felt like, look, you're making content. You might not be editing it together and posting it, but you're literally on the clock. This was recorded at whatever her hours are. Let's say her hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I have no idea what her work hours are. But if he can tell, oh, that was recorded at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, then she's on his clock. She is being paid by him, and he doesn't want her using that time to make her own videos. So this one, and so that seemed like the biggest thing that he was concerned with last week. Now today he gave us a lot more details about Ty being in the video unknowingly, he says. But this one is literally says, working for Jeff Lewis. My problem is they're at a work lunch, she calls it. So she is on the clock. She's eating caviar. Somebody is videoing her. You can hear Shane and Jeff in the background. So he had to know she was making this video. He hasn't asked her to take this one down because this one is still up on her TikTok right now. The video that a bunch of people sent me that had Jeff and Ty in the background walking down the streets of New York, talking about what designer bag they were going to watch. You could see that Annie was like holding like a selfie stick, if you will, or some kind of big, you could see her arm out. So you knew, everyone on the streets knew she's creating content. So it was Shane, it was Kian, it was Annie, it was Ty and Jeff kind of behind her. I don't want to say Ty gave eye contact, but there was nothing about it that made me think he wasn't 100% sure of what she was doing. I mean, Shane is in there talking. Jeff was talking like, when's Aurora's birthday? Maybe we can get her. But they're real. I don't know if she commented anything about Ty. And now I can't go look at those videos because she's already removed it. So listen to this one that is still up. That's confusing to me because Jeff is clearly there knowing that she's doing this on the work hours. You hear Jeff say thank you. So that's the video. I don't know the other ones that are up. Subway vlog. I don't know what this means. I'm taking an Uber to work. She took an Uber to work. She did a video this morning and she very clearly with Ryan Bailey and says, when Ryan meets up with me before work so I can tell him the tea. I mean, very cute. I don't know what hashtag she's using. She didn't hashtag Jeff Lewis or anything, but I don't know. I want to know your thoughts. Rachel says, Ty 100% knew. He kept engaging with the camera by looking directly into her view and smiling and grinning. It was so weird, right? Like if Jeff says Ty is private, Ty didn't want to know. I'll tell you one thing. I think it's all good and happy until somebody starts overstepping boundaries or being rude or DMing him something rude or commenting something rude. I know for a fact at least one or two people commented to me privately, so I'll never reveal who they are, but said something about, oh, I thought Ty was more attractive than this. He's not even that cute. I can't believe Jeff is with him. So if people are saying things like that on Jeff's next coffee picture, and then people are sending that to Ty, because trust me, even though Jeff hasn't announced his last name, there were lots of pictures, lots of videos of Ty at ChumpCon. There's been a picture going around that people have sent to me that this supposedly was from the roundup in Dallas. Now, I never confirmed that was Ty. I don't know, but it's gonna get out. And I think when it gets nasty and when people start saying mean things, then Ty is like, wait a minute, like that's not what I didn't sign up for this. I don't want any of that. I don't know how you can walk with somebody holding a selfie stick with a camera out, talking on it. Shane is talking on it, and Kian is there, and then Jeff and Ty are there walking down the streets of New York, and then say, I didn't know I was in the video and I didn't know it was going to be posted. Like, I don't understand. Right? Am I confused? Jean Marie says, I would hate to be friends or work with Jeff, especially as a woman. He's so mean and cruel when he gets on a rant. I mean, it's just confusing. It's like, are you upset that she's posting during work hours? And if you are, then why are you okay with her posting and videoing at a restaurant? Like, I would think he'd be like, no, put the camera down. I don't want our lunch recorded, especially for your Instagram, for you to be growing your audience and for you to be getting views and you hopefully being a digital entrepreneur, you a content creator, growing your business off of essentially his back, he was saying, because he said very clearly today something to the effect of, I'm well aware that you were getting views and such because you work at Jeff Lewis Live. Like, make it very clear. A lot of y'all wouldn't have known of Annie before she started working for Jeff Lewis Live. Some of us were aware of her when she worked with Heather McDonald. And then some of y'all became aware of her when I hired her to do my social media videos. And I would talk about her. But more people know about her with Jeff Lewis Live and want to follow her, want to look at her stuff. A couple of people called in today and said, you should be thanking her because it felt like we were in New York City. We didn't even know that Ty, which you clearly didn't listen because he did admit that Ty was going to be in town last Friday. Harry said he's in town because I talked about it on my podcast. But that's why people want to watch that. But if Jeff would just let her put that up on his videos, he would be getting the engagement. He would be saying, look, I am hiring you to vlog me or to make content for my social media and my videos for me to get more followers, for me to get more engagement, for me to get more views so I can make money off of that. But I also think Jeff talked a lot today about another thing he's upset with is saying, look, I can tell that you were distracted because last week when we were getting ready to fly out last Monday, you were making a vlog in your car. And then you remembered, I think, whatever the order was, but she remembered, oh, I left the tripods in the whatever, so I've got to go back and get them. He says, look, if she's only thinking about Jeff Lewis Designs, how can I make his social media better? How can I make him more money? How can the hashtags be better? How can my videos be better? All those things. Then she's not distracted about, oh, let me go make this video during my work hours. Or even, as he said today, I don't even want you focused on this because you're taking away from your focus on me. He says very clearly, when Kian or Shane are not with me, they are sending me ideas. They are constantly thinking, how can this be better? How can the show be better? How can I make his life more efficient? All the things. So it was very, very odd. Good question. Claire says, did things end amicably between you and Annie? Do you keep in touch at all? That's kind of hard to say because I can't ask her opinion. So at the very end of ours, I knew for about I hired her she does a 3-month contract. So I had to pay her for 3 months. I wanted her to make a video from my podcast, like a 90-second video to promo something from my podcast, use some clips, whether it was, one of the housewives that was on, whether it was something Jeff Lewis said, what have you. She would guide me on the hashtag. She would guide me on, I would kind of think of maybe and suggest, we would text her in the day what the video should be about. And then we would talk about it and she would guide me. Also, it was to get me more followers because with that comes more people listening to your podcast. But you can also, again, make money off those videos on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all those. So instantly I knew my numbers flattened out. They literally died out instantly. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? She's like, oh, it's the algorithm. Sometimes this happens. You're posting new content. You've never done a video like this before. I said, okay. So I had this 3-month contract. So I didn't really have, I couldn't quit, or I was going to still be paying. And I won't say the price, but I'll say it's people's mortgage. Okay. Easily people's mortgage or rent, more than an apartment rent a month for 5 videos every week. Okay. So definitely not full time. It was a 90-second video. I sent a lot of my own clips. I would also input my ideas. I would have to go back to, it was a lot of work for me because I would also have to think about and go back and get clips from my podcast. So then when my podcast was done, then I had to go back and record stuff and send it to her. And then, you know, when it wasn't growing or it wasn't making any money, I just wanted to break even. If I would have broke even and was still gaining and whatever, then I'd been like, okay, I'm spending money and eventually this will help me. But it wasn't. I was nowhere near breaking even. And matter of fact, it just kind of didn't go well. So then I was traveling a lot. And so she wouldn't do a video if I was like in, you know, BravoCon or, you know, what have you, or if she was traveling or if she was on what have you. So it got extended a little more than 3 months, but I never used up all my videos or asked her for a refund or the money back because it just kind of ended after she was involved in the whole Sarah from Texas Live from Hollywood show because the producer that reached out to her first and said, hey, would she be interested in doing a live show? And then from there, the 3 of us did a Zoom. And then from there, when it was me and him, she said, look, I'm going to bow out of this because I have nothing to do with this. I'm not making money on this. I'm not, you know, I'm not charging you. I'm not producing this, whatever. But I can tell you, she was on every single email based on the guy, the producer. She was always left on every email. So she knew everything that was going on. At the show, I know her mom came. I comped her ticket. She came. Maybe her boyfriend was there. I can't even remember. It's obviously January 2024. But we never really talked much after that. So I wouldn't say it ended badly, but no, we're definitely not, you know, friendly or professional or anything. You know, we don't have any kind of relationship at this point. So I don't know. But then somebody was telling me today, maybe in comments, that this is what she did with Heather McDonald. She says that Heather McDonald was upset because Annie was doing content during her work hours. So I have no idea if that's true because I didn't listen to Heather McDonald Juicy Scoop enough at the time. Thank you, Kelly, for giving me a YouTube sticker. Sarah, she says, Sarah, you look very relaxed and happy. Thank you very much. So I don't know. It was very interesting, right? Yes. Louise says, at the time, I remember it being a lot of work for you and I thought you were paying her plenty. Why do you have to do so much? Yeah. So it was a lot of work for me. And like I said, at the end of the day, it just didn't make sense financially. I wasn't, I on my own, I was earning a lot of followers at that point, had a lot of video engagement and getting a lot of views. And then it just died out. And she kept saying it was the algorithm had to adjust and like, oh, TikTok is being weird right now. All the creators are saying this. And it was a lot. It was a lot of excuses. But at the end of the day, whatever was going on, it wasn't near making me any money. So at the end of the day, I couldn't sustain that. It didn't make financial sense at all. Mary McFadden says, Jeff expects his sheep to keep him informed around the clock. I wish someone would tell him off air and leave. People need to start giving him a taste of his own medicine. Well, when he said that today about something like, you know, that he had been told by people that this producer, Sarah, was really mad and wanted to fight Annie, and he was getting all riled up about it. And then somebody calls in and says, no, she was actually just joking about it. She was like, oh, I'm going to fight. And even Annie has said they were texting off air and going, oh, is this good content? We should have y'all on. You know, we should go on the radio and for both of our shows, it'd be great content. They're all kind of laughing about it. And Jeff's like, oh, like maybe I should look into this a little more because people were literally telling me that all this stuff. And it was like a game of telephone. I'm like, gee, you think? Like maybe that's what happened with all the nasty shit you said about me on the radio. last January 2024, and none of it was true. So, but the damage was done, right? So, anyways, good question. Margaret says, what does Kian do? At this point, his name is spelled Cian. All I can think what Kian does right now is, he's working full time, but he's a producer. So he's kind of like a Jameson, but just for Jeff. And he thinks of the games. Maybe he thinks of music. I don't know. I honestly don't know how he and Annie are getting in 40 hours a week, if that, or more, if he's even asking them to pay more or to work more hours than that. I don't know. I think so too. And it would be smart. Mary says Annie's playing the game with Jeff as long as she can. She absolutely knows this game. I think, in my opinion, she's okay with being roasted. She is okay with this content. That's what I've always said about good reality TV people, good content creators, good social media, whatever you want to call these people. They have to lay themselves out, the good, bad, and ugly, mostly the good and mostly the bad and the ugly, because that's what gets people talking about them. And if they don't care, they're sitting in a corner in their luxury bedroom laughing all the way to the bank. So I've given the example when Jeff says really wild stuff about his daughter, he knows that's going to rile people up and he doesn't care. So he knows, oh my God, people are going to be like, I can't believe he called his 6-year-old a bitch, which he has on more than one occasion. And it gets people riled up. It gets people talking in comments. He knows when Patty Stanger is on tomorrow, people will comment like crazy on his Instagram. He's like, engagement is engagement. Like he's not doing it for that, but he's also well aware I'm not going to please 10% of my audience by not having Patty Stanger on because the people that complain are doing me just as good. He always says, I've got enough people that hate listen to me and they pay full price for SiriusXM, which my real fans, like Sarah from Texas, I call every year and get my SiriusXM flat rated because I'm like, no, I'm not paying a lot for that. You know what I mean? So, Clara says it seems like Jeff wastes a lot of money. I mean, in some ways, it seems like he's very on top of things with like checking his bank statement every morning, having an accountant come every Saturday and making sure the checks are deposited and these aren't outstanding and all that. But in a lot of ways, it seems like Jeff does spend a lot of money that he could definitely save. So I don't know. Melissa says she looks very happy, Annie, in his video. She's definitely having the last laugh. Well, and she's also part of the gang. I mean, so she's going and eating caviar. She's going on Delta One to a trip to New York City. She's in pictures with Jeff Lewis. She's in videos with her name. She's on the radio. I mean, it's definitely, I've said all along, she definitely has the personality for all of this, and she is the right fit for that. At some point, I could see where it's just not the right fit, and Jeff all of a sudden gets somebody that's like maybe quiet. Like, I think he would rather Kian be way more vocal and funny and whatever and share his life, maybe say some funny stories about his girlfriend and all that, but still be 1,000% focused on Jeff Lewis production, Jeff Lewis designs, Jeff Lewis live radio, all of that. But I think Jeff is becoming, based on what he said today, he is realizing, look, I used to hire people because they were entertaining and they did their job and they were serious. But now I realize I need more of that and less of people that entertain me, like he said that Annie does. So it's getting very interesting. Kay Kitty says, I think the more he makes, the more he spends, right? I mean, I think that's probably true with a lot of people. So not just Jeff Lewis, right? Michael Riley says, Annie's soaking it up. Maybu says, I don't really think that she's that calculated. She's young and a bit of an airhead. I don't know. I don't know. I think she's very smart. She moved to LA at a young age. I think she knew exactly what she was doing. And also, anyone that will work for Heather McDonald and then go and work for Jeff Lewis after that big fight and argument, I mean, very interesting for sure. So I mean, even when I was so I didn't know of Annie that much. I'd heard of her on Juicy Scoop, and I'd heard of the ordeal whenever she left, and Heather McDonald didn't throw her a goodbye party and all this stuff. Then I later found out, yeah, there was a little bit of drama there for sure, and I knew of that, but obviously kept my mouth shut. I've just let Annie say whatever she wants to say about it, which she has. But even when I reached out to her, it wasn't to make Heather McDonald mad and reach out to her former producer to do my social media. It was because I asked Justin Martindale, who had just had a video clip of his podcast, and I was like, oh my God, that video clip is really cool. Also, this is like August, golly, this is like August 2023, y'all. So, this is almost 2 years ago. So I think the Jeff and Heather McDonald feud was definitely going on, but it was kind of the beginnings of it for sure. But anyways, and I think Annie left from her in like June or July of 2023. So Justin said, oh, you need to reach out to Annie. You need someone like Annie to work for you. So I DM'd Annie, kind of embarrassed that my name at the time was Jeff Lewis Obsessed, because I'm like, oh my God, she's going to think, oh, you're a Jeff Lewis fan. I used to work for Heather McDonald. They're feuding. This is going to be awkward. I just never said anything about that. I was like, hi, I'm Sarah. Justin Martindale recommended you. If you know someone, it never dawned on me that someone in California could do my videos in Texas. Like, it didn't dawn on me that technology, you didn't have to be in the same city. So I was just messaging her, hey, do you know anyone in Houston? And she was like, oh, well, I'm not with Heather McDonald anymore. I'm between gigs. I started a podcast. Before this, she had a podcast that had like 2 episodes. It never went anywhere. It was about social media content. And that she only did like 2 episodes of that. And then she had said, I'm thinking of starting my own business. So let me get all that together. So that took a week or 2 or 3. Then she sent me the contract. I didn't go for the first contract she sent me because it was a lot more money, like 3 times the price. I was like, holy smokes, I'm not putting this into my podcast. Like, that's ridiculous. So then we agreed on a contract, and then we got started. For weeks, we never said anything about Jeff and Heather McDonald, for weeks, if not longer. So, oh, Christina says Annie is probably the smartest one in the studio. I mean, what happened to Sam? Who is Sam? Sam. Yes, Anne says, did everyone have a great weekend? Don't forget that next weekend is Father's Day. Exactly. I mean, because it's his, that's what makes, Diane says, why does Jeff call out his employees on the air? Well, that's what makes the audience start talking. I mean, trust me, there's already been 3 or 4 posts about this, including one that I made in the Sarah from Texas Facebook group. So about today's Annie and Jeff, situation. So he knows what he's doing. He knows the things to talk about that get people talking. I mean, do we really want to hear him talk about, Weight Watchers every day or whatever? So we definitely know. I don't know. Diane says, what happened between Stu and Annie? I don't know. I know for a while she was still making videos for Stu, and she had already gotten hired from Jeff Lewis. So I was always shocked that Jeff was even okay with that. I have no idea. No idea. Anyways, okay. So basically, no more vlogs on Jeff Lewis Live Time. He also mentions that she missed her curfew, but Shane said something about, well, look, you didn't even put her up in a hotel room. So why are you giving her a curfew whenever she was staying with a friend for free? He says, well, but she still had a curfew. She showed up hungover, and Annie stood up for herself going, look, I only had 2 drinks and I was out till 3:30 in the morning, but I still came on time. I was still pleasant. I was still respectful. I still did my job. I got my videos done and all that thing. So it was a very awkward conversation. But like I said, she holds her own. She doesn't back down. She gets spicy with him. She gets sarcastic with him. He is concerned that she's not focused on the Jeff Lewis Live business, and very much, again, was comparing Kian and Shane to Annie's lack of what he sees as lack of focus on Jeff Lewis Live. So I don't know. Very interesting. Yes, that was so exciting. Mary says Jameson's news is exciting. He's moving into an apartment, a townhome with his boyfriend Brandon. Yes. Really? Christina says I love Pej, but I couldn't listen to his hour because of Jeff. Michael Riley says very true. She will need benefits. Is that like for her like full-time job? I think a lot of, I don't know about LA in particular, but I think there's a lot of careers that don't give benefits, like being your own content creator. So I don't know. I guess you just have to make up enough money to put aside the 401k or to put aside the health insurance price. You know what I mean? Where's Annie going? Somebody said, bye, Annie. Can't see where it says that. Did she leave? Did she have to go? I can't see. Brewed cookie, I think, coming from the older generation. I don't know what that means. Tough cookie. Shane fired Sam. Who was Sam? Why am I forgetting Sam? What did he do for them? I do vaguely remember Shane having to fire someone, but I cannot even think of who Sam is. Heather says, when Kian first left, I'm sure that he was looking for, where did it go? Other jobs while at work. Oh. See, and that's all common. It's all common, like for somebody to text their boyfriend, good morning, you know, whatever. But when Jeff noticed that Annie a week or two ago was texting with her boyfriend at like 9:15 in the morning, he was like, nah, not on my shift. Like he doesn't go for that at all. Jordy says it's because Annie is just passing through. Shane is Jeff Lewis lifer, but Annie has much bigger prospects on her agenda. Yeah. Rachel says Sam replaced Kian after Kian quit. Sam quit and Annie got hired. I vaguely remember that was so short. Kian came back and asked for his job back, but Annie got to stay and Kian got promoted to producer. Yes. Oh, he did the camera as Sam. Okay, I vaguely remember him for sure. I'm very excited for Jameson and Brandon. I think it's a great move. I have no idea what they're paying, but maybe together splitting this rent. Oh, there's a dog on my TV. So my dog. Does y'all's dog watch TV? Luna, even in the living room, the TV is way up high, or, you know, for a dog, she's a lab. She's not super tall. This TV is above our dresser, so it's way more eye level. The TV in our living room is on the brick firewall, the brick fireplace thing. Come here, Lulu's. But she will be like this, and she will notice the Aflac commercial, a dog, a duck, a horse, a cow, I mean, notices every single one. So the TV is on, but it's muted, and she noticed a dog on the commercial. Rebecca says Jeff likes to control people around him. Annie's a little too feisty. Yeah, we definitely all missed the video for sure. Raquel says Annie's just waiting for the new show to be on TV. I don't know. B. Kent says Annie's getting too comfortable. Sorry, I'm making sure my ice is on my foot. Oh, Mary's dog watches TV and goes crazy. I love that. Michael Riley says, okay, let's see. Everyone take note. On June 9th, Michael Riley says Annie will be gone before the summer ends. So let's see if he's right about that or not. Oh, Jordy, I thought it was Annie who is a chumpette. That's why. Sarah says, you're literally talking about Annie for 20 minutes and how she's on thin ice. So then when someone commented, bye, Annie, you're like, who's Annie? Did I miss her? No, I meant Annie. Shout out Annie, the chumpette that lives in Florida. That's who I thought they were. Because a lot of times someone will say, I've got to leave, I've got to work, or I've got an appointment, and they'll leave, and people will start saying bye to them. So that's why. And, you know, I'm blonde, so I was not thinking that Annie. I was thinking the other Annie. Dolly Girl says, my German Shepherd doesn't watch TV, but I still love her anyways. Melissa says, no, my dog is oblivious. I know when people come over, they know now, but they're like, I can't believe she totally notices every animal that's on the TV. And totally, like she scratches the brick that's above our fireplace. She loves all that. Mike O'Reilly says, Charlie loves to watch TV. It makes me laugh. Well, Luna only cares about, you give me the side eye, Luna? Luna. She's laying on the floor in front of me. Oh, I don't know. Heather says Annie may have something else lined up already. That's why the cockiness. I don't think so. If she's making videos about Jeff Lewis, let's see how many followers she has on Instagram. 8,579. So interestingly enough, she doesn't put the same videos because look, her Instagram grid is stuff about her podcast with her boyfriend or herself. It's like the Jeff Lewis video isn't up there. That's interesting. I don't know what's up as her story because it wouldn't click on it, but I don't know. Who knows? Who's Molly? Raquel says Annie might go work for Molly. LOL. Who's Molly? It was mainly pictures of Jenny and Heather McDonald. What are you talking about? What's Annie's IG? I think it's Annie Sharp. ANNIE underscore, or no, Annie Sharp and then an underscore. That's her Instagram. So it's not the same as her TikTok, which most people's have the same. Like they post the same Instagram on TikTok and as they do. So here's her. See, her TikTok is much more about like Jeff Lewis content, whatever, which is interesting because Jeff posts on TikTok, but only his videos. He doesn't post the coffee picture there or anything like that. I don't know. Interesting. My girl Sarah Fraser was coming up. Oh, Molly Sims to go work for Molly. Yeah. Uh-oh. Heather says she knows the end is near and she's waiting for a payout, perhaps. I don't think he gives payouts. I think Jeff is like, look, you quit on a Wednesday, I'll pay you till Friday. Let's be done. Leave. I'm hiring someone new. M says, I feel like Annie set you up for the live show debacle. She was not a good friend. Oh, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't want to think that because first of all, we weren't friends. We knew each other professionally and we hung out a few times, but not necessarily like hung out. Like when I met her at the coffee shop one time, whatever that one is that's down the street where Jeff works. We met at the coffee shop and we made content together and I paid her to make a video and record me and Sarah Fraser when Sarah Fraser asked me to go on her show. But yeah, it wasn't for free. I mean, I had to pay her. So definitely had a working relationship. But, we talked and I knew she had migraines back then too. Oh, okay. Topper says, I'm back. I put the dog bed underneath the TV so my Bella thinks I'm looking at her at all times. Aw, that's so cute. She follows Stu, and I assume Stu follows her. Katie says, not a fan of Annie. Do I think Jeff's being a little unreasonable? Yes, but I have a sixth sense about people, and Annie has mean girl vibes. So. Jeff Lewis. And people even called in today and said, hey, we like that Ty was in this video because that's how I found out he was in New York City because Ty was in that video. It was interesting. We can't see it now because she's already removed it from TikTok per Jeff's request. But the fact is, she's literally, you can see her arm out like this. So you can tell that she's carrying holding her phone out, or maybe the selfie stick was even in the video. You can see she's videoing and creating content. Shane is talking to her. Jeff is talking to Annie about, when Aurora's birthday is to see when they could, if they should buy her a real Michael Kors purse or a fake designer that she wanted. So it's odd now to say that Jeff didn't know he was in the video, or I thought it was weird because he'd already talked about this on Friday. And then that video went up this weekend. So I'm like, well, now Jeff's okay with her videoing him on the streets of New York City. And I'm like, maybe he just wanted to say that. And then he wanted, let me help her videos out. Let me help her views out. Because trust me, if Jeff Lewis is in your video and you're hanging out with him, people are going to put it on Reddit. They're going to put it in the Facebook groups. They're going to repost it. They're going to share it to the fan accounts. They're going to send it to me. I mean, they're going to do a lot more with it than if it was just Annie. But also if it's Annie talking about going to like the one at the the Jeff Lewis work lunch. Nobody's in the video but her and then one of the employees, but it's clearly Jeff and Shane at this work lunch, and she's eating caviar. I don't think she's eating caviar on her own necessarily. Lori says, oh, come on, ladies. Annie is a hard worker and having fun with it. Give her a break. Mary says, speaking of dogs, I have to go walk him in his, 100-degree heat. Yikes. Wait till the sun goes down. Lulu says, Annie will never be mature enough for what Jeff wants. I was astonished by Jeff expecting his employees to follow his rules on their time away from him. Oh, like with the curfew. I mean, I sort of get the curfew as far as like being safe and all that, but also he's like, look, don't show up on my work day the next day looking like you were out till 3:30 in the morning or dragging like you were out, basically saying, look, I got to give you a curfew so you will show up. I think if it was someone that didn't go out and someone that didn't party, didn't have friends in New York, wasn't 26 years old or however old she is. I think Shane is 28. I think Kian is about 27, 28. I think Annie's only like 25, maybe 26. I feel like she was 24 when I hired her, and that's almost 2 years ago. So she might be, and she's about to have a birthday. I think she said what age she is, but I don't remember. But her boyfriend's a comedian. Like that would be a great fit. Like the caller said, that would be fantastic for her boyfriend to get on as a co-host of Jeff Lewis Live. But I think Jeff would do those kinds of favors for someone that he thought was 1,000% on board with his business and not thinking of their own videos and how to, use Jeff Lewis content for that. You know what I mean? Louise says he cannot legally give her a curfew unless she's on the clock being paid. Well, yeah, but he's just saying don't show up looking like you were out till 3:30 in the morning or acting like you were out till 3:30 in the morning, right? Okay. Pej and Carney were on the second episode, the second hour. Pej is going to propose. Like he literally gave all the details. Where? He said next week. He told us how he met his girlfriend in 2003, 22 years ago. I mean, he's like, well, my girlfriend doesn't listen. And I'm like, dude, someone is going to ruin this for you. Do you know how many chump listeners there are that know of Pej or know of his girlfriend and they're going to DM her? Like they've already done it. I'm sure of it. I'm like, dude, like her mom probably already knows already. Like it's crazy. I don't know. Okay. The thing with Annie and Sarah, this board op producer for, what's her name? Julia Cunningham. It's all fake. I think it's all whatever. Even, Jeff thought because people had told him that she wanted to fight, all that was serious, whatever. But Annie's like, no, we're texting, we're talking about how good it is for content, all the things, you know what I mean? So I think Jeff finally realizes it was good for content, just like he agreed that the Reza and Pol and Patrick argument was good for content. Christina says, why is Annie's 11:30 and the boys were 12:30? No, make it equal. Well, that's life. And sometimes a lot of people have different whatever's for girls than boys, especially in New York City. Meg says, I don't think a curfew is legal in a work environment. Yeah, I don't think it is either. Jordy says, Jeff never wants anyone to go out drinking and partying except if he's there. If he was there, then it's suddenly fine for Shane to be sitting there in sunglasses hungover, double standard, which is exactly what our level-headed Jameson Scala said. He said, pot calling the kettle black for sure. And he was like, Jeff, like you've shown up drunk. Left hungover. You've been out late, whatever. Deja Monet says, having a curfew is ridiculous. I've been on my fair share of business trips and professionals know how to conduct themselves. You can go out and have a good time and be ready to go the next day. I know. Christina says, I felt bad for Pej. A chump will ruin it, definitely. I know. I hope not. Katie says, I agreed. Christina, that's illegal to have different standards for female, male employees. Jeff needs to be careful not to find himself in an employment lawsuit. I wonder how he protects himself with that. Like, I'm sure his attorney Like, I don't know if Jeff's ever been sued. I don't know. No idea. Or if he settles it, or if nobody's just ever sued him, if he keeps everything, all of his ducks in a row. I don't know. No, do not toss it away. What does that mean? Dolly Girl says, I thought the curfew was a joke for content. I don't think it was. I think Jeff was very clear. And not that he could do anything about it. I mean, clearly Shane stayed out later than the curfew if they said he got home at 1:30. But the fact that Shane and Annie were together, I'm sure made Jeff happy. I don't know. Maybe not. This whole Etsy witch spell thing, never heard of it in my life. But the whole karma of it all, I mean, that caller that called in and says, my aunt was super into this particular voodoo something that was, this Puerto Rican thing. And she got mad at a guy and hired someone on Etsy to put a spell on him. And then she got run over by a bus or a car. And I was like, oh my God, like that was crazy. I think Jeff was like, well, we need to do like good spells, like blessings on people. And I think even Shane and Carney were like, it's just called a prayer. Like, let's just keep it at prayers. We're not getting involved with witches, voodoos, spells. Like Etsy, is it a $35? Is it $100? Like, which is the better one? Like, I don't even know. It's crazy. He does. I've met him a couple of times. He is maybe once, maybe twice. I know I've met him once and hung out with him a little bit. He is very nice, such a nice guy, Pej Vidot. He really is. He might have it. Joetta says he almost needs these rules in an NDA type contract. I don't know if you can put a rule as to what time you come home. I think he was just kind of saying it. You know what I mean? Jordy says, I'm surprised Jeff has never been a target of cancel culture. He has a lot. It only takes one allegation to open the floodgates, and they all come out alleging horrible workplace conditions like the Ellen Show. Yeah, but he gets it for like saying like Asians have bad eyesight or things like that. He'll say things that over and over again, like he'll call it like master bedroom instead of primary bedroom, and then be like, oh, I didn't know we couldn't say that. Or I can't think of some other examples. Y'all probably can give me examples, but he definitely says things like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't say that. And I'm like, it's 2025. You're 55 years old. You know you can't say that. Or they've taught you this is not the right term for that. Like, when somebody prefers the pronoun and he calls them a he or a she, he's like, oh, I didn't know. And they're like, yes, you did. We've told you. So I don't know. Anna says, I love how Jameson stands firm with his boundaries with Jeff. He's taking notes and learning from the mistakes of others. Yeah, for sure. Christina says, I said boys will be boys. That phrase needs to burn in hell. I did? I don't know if I said that. Anyways, what else? Justin Baldoni's countersuit. He had a $400 million countersuit against Blake Lively, and it's been dismissed. I have no idea what that means for him. Like, I felt like what they were feeding us anyways, he had a legitimate countersuit against her. So I have no idea. The fact that it's dismissed means it's going nowhere. Bryn Whitfield has announced today that she is walking away from Real Housewives of New York City. She's going to focus on her dating app. She's the chief marketing officer. And she's like, we just hit our all-time highest downloads, and I want to focus on that. I'm like, so you weren't asked back for a contract, or none of these people have reached out to you at all. So you realize you're going to be a lone girl on this, whatever, and have nobody to talk to, right? So very interesting. Don't forget tonight, if you are an Instagram subscriber, or if you sign up now or before 7:00 Eastern tonight, Monday, you can join our Ask Me Anything on my Instagram Live, Sarah from Texas podcast. It's $4.99 a month, and you get access to all the previous Instagram Lives and all my subscriber content. So feel free to do that. It's normally on Sunday nights. It's an Ask Me Anything. We either do an Instagram Live. Every once in a while, we'll do a Zoom, which is so much more fun because then everyone can kind of talk at once. But people can also request to come up just like they do on like anyone's Instagram Live, like on Cooking Kibitz or whatever. So it's really fun. Christina says it's mistress bedroom. Thank you very much. Instead of primary bedroom. Anyways, Michael Riley says, bye, Bryn. Oh, okay. Louise says, I hope you watch Love Hotel tonight. Want to talk about what you thought of last night's Earl versus Shannon. Okay, for sure. Okay, so I will plan on watching Love Hotel and the Watch What Happens Live that had Shannon Bedore on it last night for sure. Hey, Sherry. Uh, will you go see Fortune Feimster in Lexington? Somebody's asking Katrina. Hope y'all do. She's really funny, and I think we should all support Fortune Feimster for sure. Anyways, thank you so much for joining live. It is so much more fun. I love when y'all get caught in the comments and start chatting with each other, chatting with me. Love it. Make sure you're following me everywhere at Sarah from Texas Podcast. And if you're listening as a podcast, thank you. Make sure you scroll down and hit the 5-star rating and review. And I will see you same place, same time tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Bye, Chumpettes.